Welcome to MMA Oddsmaker. I'm Nick Kalikas. Joining me today, I have Jeremy Botter and Reed Kuhn. Let's get started. Fight number 16, this time a lightweight battle from UFC 160 between Maynard and TJ Grant. Now this is an outstanding fight, really looking forward to it. We're going to start off with Jeremy Botter first in this fight. Jeremy, I'm going to open up Maynard, a slight favorite, minus 245. The comeback on Grant is going to be plus 175. Give me your take and give me your bet.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the comeback on Grant goes any higher, if he gets to plus 225, plus 250, I'd be firing on it. But the way that the line is right now, I think it's a great value on Maynard, mostly because TJ has never faced the kind of competition that Gray's been in there with for the past few years. Gray's excellent, has good power, outstanding wrestling, as we've seen. TJ's been surprising. He's been very good in the UFC's lightweight division, but I just don't see him not competing with Maynard, because it's obvious that he can compete with Maynard, but at this number that you've put out there, I just can't take him. I have to take Maynard.
Okay, so Jeremy is going to lay the juice on Gray here, minus 245. It's going to be $12.25 to win $500. Let's throw it over Reed. It's going to be Maynard versus TJ Grant at UFC 160. With your $5 donated bankroll, who do you got?
Very close matchup here. Maynard is a justifiable favorite, I think, just based on his UFC resume. He's faced top-level competition for a long time. But let's not forget, he'll be 34 years old when this fight comes around. He's facing a surging TJ Grant who just barely turned 29. And while Maynard is used to being the larger guy in the cage, Grant will actually have the reach advantage here. So the tail of the tape is enough for me to start sniffing around for an upset. And statistically, Grant outperforms in a lot of areas. He's the more accurate striker. He has used his wrestling just as much as Maynard has, if not more, actually, if you correct for the number of minutes they've been in the cage. If the aggregate stats aren't enough, Grant came in and put on a dominant show against a very solid veteran Matt Wyman recently. So when I'm looking for an upset pick, I want to see favorable anthropometrics on the tail of the tape. I also want to see favorable skill stats, and that's what I'm seeing here. And the line is getting to the point where it's probably enough for me to pull the trigger on the upset. So I'm going to go with TJ Grant.
Okay, so Reed is going to take the underdog here, plus 175 on TJ Grant, 500 to win 875. As far as my personal thoughts here, it is another tricky fight that could go really either way. You got to favor Gray with the power, with the wrestling. We all know that he was right there. He gave Frankie Edgar everything he could handle in those fights, in those wars. So Gray definitely one of the top lightweights. My concern is with the time off, with the layoff, and with the momentum that TJ Grant is coming into this fight. I do think he matches up very well with Gray on the ground, standing up. So it's going to be a very intriguing fight. I'm personally leaning a little bit more towards the underdog here as well. As far as adjustment goes, I'm not going to touch it though. It's going to hit the books minus 245 plus 175 when it does hit 5 dimes, because I do think that it's probably accurate. We might see it climb up a little bit, but it'll probably end up closing close to where I opened it here. Make sure you guys stay tuned to MMA Oddsmaker tomorrow as we break fight number 17.